everyone, it's Janet Fox, and welcome to my webinar on Write and Revise your children's book. This is a starter toolkit that I've created for you on writing your children's book, whether picture book or young adult. Now, if you're attending this webinar, it's because you've always wanted to write a children's book, which I totally understand. Whether you are thinking about a picture book or a novel, fiction or nonfiction, writing for kids is your dream, but you need support because you're out there all alone trying to figure this out, how to write, revise, and see your book, the dream that you have, in the hands of young readers. So if that's you, if you're looking for that kind of information, something to get you kickstarted into a career as a children's book author, you are in the right place. I call it a starter toolkit to make that dream of writing for kids come true, because I'm giving you today a lot of information, bits and pieces of information that I hope will be really useful to you. And I hope it'll get you moving in the direction of your dreams, of your writing goals. So who am I? I'm Janet Fox. I'm an award-winning author of 12 published books for young readers. And I've been helping kidlit authors to write and revise their books for almost 6 years now in a step-by-step fashion. So in addition to this 25-year career in writing, I'm now also have developed a career in teaching. So I've been helping a lot of writers move toward their dream of publication, like my friend Brooke, whose YA novel Trapped, a thrilling adventure story set in Maine, a romance and a mystery, came out in 23, and I couldn't be more proud of her hard work and her brilliant piece of writing. She's excited and moving on to her second novel as we speak. Now, my own books cover the waterfront, from picture books through middle grade and young adult, fiction, nonfiction, still coming out. And as a mentor and teacher, I strive to guide writers to turn your struggles into triumphs, so you can have the experience that I've had of having been a successful writer. Maybe a lot like you, your writing journey may also have begun at an early age, and mine began in the third grade when my teacher, Mrs. Weber, sent my poem into the town newspaper, and they published it, which gave me a great thrill at that young age. And now I'm a mom of a writer, and I'm living in Montana with my family, where I do a lot of hiking and gardening when we don't have snow on the ground. So if you're in this webinar, it's for you if you want to write and publish a children's book. Or maybe you've started one, but you just can't finish it. You're somewhere swamped in the middle. Or you've finished writing, but you don't know how to revise it. You don't know how to whip it into shape to take it to that next level. Or you finished a book, maybe you've even been able to revise it, but you want to know what is the best publishing option for your children's book. Like my friend Susan did, my client Susan, when she worked with me on her middle grade novel, Elephant Touch, which is coming out soon. She chose a different kind of publishing path from the traditional, but it works. It works for her. And there are so many opportunities and options today, and I'm going to share some of that information with you. So if you imagine, like Brooke and like Susan, that there was a way to get help to write and revise your story so that you could go from being someone who wants to write a book to someone who has written a book. You could even see your book on bookshelves in bookstores and libraries. These are not just possibilities, but they could be your realities. But you need the right tools. You need the right skills. You need to understand how to get there. What's the right path for you? And that's what I'm going to present to you today. So what I'm going to share are 6 myths that confuse beginning writers. And I see this all the time. Those 6 myths are going to hold you back if you're not familiar with them and know how to debunk them. I'm also going to share a 7-part framework I've built to create a polished children's book. And I'm also going to share how, when you work with me, beyond this webinar, you'll be able to write the children's book of your dreams. So if you're still trying to go it alone and you're done with that, no idea how to write a publishable book, if you're tired of feeling like you'll never be published, if you're sure that there's some secret key out there, like I did for so many years, I thought there was some secret key. If only I could find that key, I could write the best book and see it on bookshelves. Then the good news is that there actually is a secret key, and it's pretty easy to get to with help, and I can help you unlock that door. Now, my 25-year journey in this realm wasn't easy for me, so I feel your pain. I struggled with many of the same problems. I started writing when our son was born, and we discovered he was dyslexic, and I was trying to help him read by creating little stories. I thought that would really help him. So I went from one conference to the next, to meetings and workshops, writing and sending out my work, but I got rejection after rejection. It was really disheartening. They piled up in my drawer. I wanted to write a great book, and I wanted to see it in the hands of readers. I wish there was a way that I could find that secret key that I just mentioned, how to write a publishable book. So although I had friends and mentors, there was no one place at that time for me to learn what I needed to know. There are organizations, there were craft books, but I felt like I was on my own in this river of information that never coalesced into something that I could actually absorb and understand. And I was overwhelmed about even trying to think about writing that book, much less finding an agent. Well, as luck would have it, I had a meeting at a workshop after many other workshops with a wonderful agent who gave me meaningful feedback. And for the first time, it clicked, something clicked. And I had a deeper understanding of not only what to fix, but how to fix it. And it was that support from that one person who knew what my work needed, who understood the craft of writing, who understood the publishing industry. And that took me from premise to published. And now my greatest wish, true wish, is to share what I learned through those long and lonely 25 years of experience with you. Because I finally achieved success by doing many of the right things, but also by learning how many mistaken beliefs there are about writing. There are so many confusing and actually sidetracking mysteries to getting something published. And so those mistaken beliefs and the lack of knowledge are why I built my program, the one that I call Fox's Den. But let's look first at the 6 mistaken beliefs, these writing myths. And we're going to dispel them right now. And they are so common. I hear people from all walks of life who believe these things. And I want you to understand the truth about what, what writing is. So here's the first myth. There's only one way to write a book. Now, when I started out, I thought the only way that I could write a book was to sort of wing it, to just go organically into this book, to just start writing, write 500 words a day, butt in chair, all of those things that I heard. I didn't know how to write a book, but boy, I wanted to try. But without a structure, a story doesn't hold together, and I didn't understand structure. And it doesn't work just to have the structure alone either, because then it easily just becomes this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. And if you've ever written a book and felt like, well, I'm telling you a lot of things that are going on in this world that I've built, but it's just one thing after another, so I'm not really sure that it's making any sense. Only by understanding how all these elements of story work together, both organic writing and the organizational part of writing, that's the only way you're going to learn to write your best story. So that's a myth I want to debunk right now. There's no one right way to write. There's a combination of ways, and you have to understand the craft of writing. So this second myth is so common. When I write a picture book, I should illustrate it too. Well, are you a professionally trained illustrator? I mean, do you have a degree, art skills? You know how to create a work of visual art? Are you marketing yourself as an artist? I'm going to guess that you're probably basically a writer. If you're an illustrator, forgive me, but I'm going to assume that if you're listening, you're a writer and you don't have those professional degrees. Please don't illustrate your picture book. Art departments in publishing houses hire the illustrator. By doing it yourself or hiring your own illustrator, you will actually reduce or spoil your chances of getting published. These are the things that I want you to learn what to do and what not to do. Don't do that, so that your story can find its way into the world. Now, the third myth I want to debunk: I won't be published if I don't find an agent. So I mentioned at the beginning with Susan. Susan found an alternative way to traditional publishing that I can show you. And it is now a highly respected way, and it's not just self-publishing. There are many other opportunities out there for publishing. So if you don't know what they are, you don't know how to get there. There is a way that you can achieve your goal that may not be something that you've thought of. It might be looking for an agent in a traditionally large house, or it might be working just with an editor at a smaller publisher, or it might be author publishing, self-publishing, or niche publishing, or hybrid publishing, or academic publishing. There are so many opportunities out there for authors today, and they are all respected now in a new way, and they are all able to get books into the hands of readers. I want you to know which are the best and which is the best for you. So rather than being discouraged or focusing on one outcome for your book, learn what the possibilities are for your work. Okay, the fourth myth, and I have heard this: my idea is so good I don't need to polish my characters, that the idea will carry the day. Well, without a strong cast of characters, your story won't fly. It's not about how a character looks or where they live or what they do. It's about emotion on the page. You're going to learn a lot about emotion inside the Fox's Den. If you don't know how to make emotion on the page, your readers will not connect with your story, no matter how terrific that concept is, how earth-shattering, how best-selling premisey it is. If you don't connect with the reader, your story will never be published or never be read. So the fifth myth is all about audience. So someone might say, my book is a picture book for 10-year-olds. Or my book is a middle grade romance. Or my book is for teens about kids who are 12. I think you're probably going to get a sense that all of those are absolutely not possible. Audience understanding is so crucial in children's books. We don't have that issue in grown-up books, right? It's just children's literature is different. If you don't know your reader, you won't find your reader. So in the Den, I teach people how to create a reader avatar. That's the real person that you can identify and identify with. And that will help you write a book that will sell, because you know who's going to read your book. This is really, really important. And finally, the sixth myth: my book is unique. Well, if your book is so unique and you can't identify a book like it in the bookstore or the library, then how will you sell it? What are you going to say to the publisher? Because publishers are interested in one thing and one thing only, and that's making money. And they can only make money if they can put your book on a bookshelf that has a label. So if the librarian can't shelve it, and the bookstore owner can't put it in a section that's clearly labeled, that unique premise of yours, that idea, it's just not going to be bought by a publisher, and it won't be shelved in libraries and bookstores, which is why you need to understand audience and genre. You need to know what makes a book readable and why readers will want it. And that's why I created Fox's Den, to help people like you get that book in the hands of readers, not just have an idea for a book that you think is going to work. Okay, so those are the things not to believe. So what do we need to know? What do you need to know in order to get your book in the hands of readers? And I've developed a 7-part framework, and I'm going to show it to you now. I'm going to walk you through it. Please take notes. Please make comments in the comment box. I would love to know what you think, because this is the framework that I use to teach you how to get from your idea, from premise, to published. These are the 7 parts of my framework. Book basics, just understanding who you're writing for and what genre you're in. The audience expectations, which is all part of the same book basics thing. Character, plot, and world, the 3 pillars of great literature. How to revise. How do we revise? And finally, how do we take what we've written and revised and created this wonderful thing, but how do we take it to the marketplace? Let's start with book basics. And be sure to take notes. These are clues and hints for you. So, do you know what it takes to get published today? Marion Dane Bauer, who was a teacher of mine at one point, a brilliant writer, a Newbery honor writer. Many people want to write stories. Many more people want to write them than ever get around to doing it. So you want to do it. Let's help you do it. But you first need to understand the industry and everything about the craft of writing, because it's not about the books that we grew up with. Everything has changed in such rapid order that things that were popular or important or publishable 10 years ago are not today. So if you are older than 10 and you want to write a book, then you need to learn what it is that people will buy today and read today. And that's what separates those who would like to write and publish a book from those who actually get that job done. So we're going to take you from premise to publish, because you're going to understand what it is to write a children's book for today's market. Now, I also teach audience expectations, and this is something I mentioned a little bit ago. Who are you writing for? I think we all have to come to a recognition that the reading audience is a certain age with specific interests, certain literacy skills. And so you need to demystify your audience. You need to understand your audience. If you are writing a picture book, you need to know what age children will read your picture book, and therefore what diction and syntax you need to use in that picture book, what not to put in a picture book, what to withhold so that the illustrator can put things in a picture book. These are things that I will teach you because I have picture books out and I know what the audience expectations are. And I can help you find those audience expectations. You want to write not to the market, but to what the reader will love and need in your book. I spend a lot of time teaching character inside the Den. I think I have 15 lessons on character alone. It's my favorite part of writing. It's the most important part of writing because character is the heart of story. And if you don't know your character's internal desire or longing, if you don't know their external goal, if you don't know their flaws or their backstory wound, you are not going to be able to develop a 3-dimensional character that will jump off the page. So your story will be barren of emotion, because when we read, we connect with characters on the page. Even in picture books, you need to know what your character wants and how they can get it. And that's what we'll do in the den. We're going to help you enrich and deepen your characters. Plot, of course, that's the whole heart and structure of a story, right? You need to understand how it works, how things move, when things should happen, so that it's not just this happens and then this happens and this happens, because that's a very boring story. And plot paradigms, those templates that you can use where you can put turning points and so on a page, are very instructive, but they're not going to tell you everything. They're not going to tell you how a character moves through the arc of plot and where they should change and what they should do during the course of your story, so that you can create a cause and effect trajectory that then makes that story come alive. And again, you're going to learn how plot moves in the Fox's Den, not simply what plot is. Now, world building is so fun, but it's not straightforward or easy. You need to understand how to construct a system of governance or social structure. You need to know how to mix time and place if you want to create a complex story. So there's a lot more to building worlds than just knowing the weather or the landforms, right? You need to learn all of those things that will make your world feel totally real to the reader. Revision, again, is one of the most important parts of creating a work of art, of creating a true work of art, one that will sell. And you can't just stop after the first sketch. You can't just stop after you've written that first draft. You've got to go back and you've got to take it apart and put it back together again. How do you do that? Inside the Fox's Den, I have a step-by-step method for helping you to revise your work. That's where you take that rough story and bring it to a high shine, and we're going to help you make that happen. So once you have that glorious story, once you have polished it to a high shine, once you've mastered the craft, once you've created the cast of deep, rich characters, once you've created that world and polished it and polished it and polished it, how do you sell it? Again, you need to understand the market. You need to understand publishing today, because you want people to read it. And this is where, in Fox's Den, you'll learn to understand the industry and the marketplace and how to position your work so that it will be found. My client Julie said that she needed the right combination of support and tough love to get her story where it was needed to be. And I do have that understanding of both craft and market. And I share that with my clients. I'll share that with you inside the Fox's Den, because I really believe in story. I really believe that the world needs more stories, and I want to help you get yours into the world. So if you want to write and publish a children's book, you've started it, but you don't know how to finish it. You've finished it, but you don't know how to revise it. You've polished and polished, but you're overwhelmed by the publishing options. You need a system to write, revise, and find that publishing option for your children's book, and you want it now, this year. This is your year. This is your year to take it to the mat. But you don't yet understand all of the steps. You don't yet understand how to create that masterpiece that's in your head, how to get it from there on paper. You're really tired of feeling alone. You're really tired of feeling unstructured, like you'll never be published. You want that magic key, and you want to learn to write your best book and see it on the shelves. So what if you could write that book and feel like you have a publishable story? Like Dave, who wrote a fabulous YA novel about a young man in a very interesting set of circumstances. And I loved helping him. He was really struggling with that story. And by the time we finished, he felt so proud of having developed this rich, intriguing novel and taking it to fruition. And that possibility, what he what he succeeded in doing, that could be you. Within 6 months, which is what the tenure of the Fox's Den is, you could be there too. And this is why I've developed the Den, because inside the Den, there's everything that you need to understand writing for children. Everything from inception of idea to publishing in the marketplace. So what is Fox's Den? You're probably asking yourself this question. So it's a series of self-guided courses with lessons, multiple lessons covering everything from beginner to advanced, from writing to revising to publishing, everything. I try to pack everything in there, everything of my 25 years of understanding the industry and about the craft of writing. It's a membership program. I am the guide in that program. It's a community with writers like you who are struggling with the same things. And it's a supportive community where we can get together in a forum and discuss our issues, discuss our dreams, discuss our problems and questions. And it's there to help you, to boost you on your journey. And we meet 2 times a month for live coaching, question and answer in a Zoom meeting where I am working to help you understand where you are and where you can get to and how to do that. So you have 2 options. You could spend more time and energy trying to figure it out on your own, which is what I did. And it was hard and lonely and irritating and frustrating. And it took a lot. Or you could learn a proven method for writing your book so you could feel like a true author signing your book in your editor's office, which is what I'm doing here. A thrill for me, for sure. And I would like to see you get there. I really would. So again, inside the Den, there are multiple lessons inside each module, extensive handouts with deep exercises that have gotten praise from my students, tools and extras, the Zoom meetings, the community of writers, a way to get your questions answered, up-to-date and inside publishing info. I am constantly trolling the internet for more information, the latest information on publishing. And with 25 years of experience in writing and publishing, with an MFA in writing for children, I really can bring a lot to bear inside the Den. So here's how it works. The first module is that introduction for writing to children. It's that overview that you need to get rid of those misconceptions, like those myths we talked about at the beginning, and there are more of them. So I want you to be aware of them and not fall into the path of doing it wrong before you can get it right. The second module is completely devoted to picture books, to understanding their structure, to understanding audience expectations, how to create, how to market these surprisingly complex texts, because picture books are not an easy thing. And if you want to write picture books, you need to understand how to do that. Module 3, Mastering Middle Grade. If you want to write a middle grade novel, writing for middle grade readers really requires you to understand all of the nuances of voice, character, interest, marketing, all of these basics for such a challenging audience, because they will challenge you. They will question you. They're on their game. And if you want to write for the middle grade audience, you need to know what their expectations are. Young adults, even more demanding, sophisticated. They want strong stories with teens that resonate with them. And so they're looking for, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, they're looking for something that really will touch them deeply and speak to their needs as teens. And you want to know how to write those books. As I said, creating character is the heart of every story, and it's my favorite part of writing. And I take it to the mat, to town, to the moon and back again when I teach creating character. You're going to understand everything about voice, tone, agency, emotion, backstory wounds, character arc, desire, goals, motivations, everything that underpins the best of storytelling through character. Plot. I go through everything in plot, from plot paradigms to using a cause and effect trajectory on the inside outline, from subplots to layered plots, from stakes to ticking clocks. You're going to understand how to create a high tension plot that will propel the reader through the story so that you have readers who can't fall asleep at night, who won't put that book down because they can't wait to turn the next page. And in world building is challenging unless it's broken down. You will understand how to create a world, how to build a world that readers will want to fall into and stay inside for the entire story. Belief systems, social structures, how to use landscape to enhance your story. These are all things that are inside the world building module. Revision module, all of those big and then tiny things that make all the difference in sending your book out into the world. You don't want to just send your first draft out into the world and have rejection after rejection. You want to know how to revise it, to make it stronger, more powerful, more nuanced, more interesting, more tension-filled, more fun to read. That's where we go with the revision module. And selling your stuff. I do keep on top of all the publishing options today, and there are so many now. It's not just sending your book into the void to try and find an agent any longer. You need to find the right platform for your story. Your story is going to be unique in one way, and that is how you put it into the world. The content will be unique in another way. It will not be so unique it can't be on the bookshelf. It will be unique because it's your idea. But the way you present it to the world, the way you get it into the world, you can find your own path, and I can help you do that. So in addition to the modules, with the lessons, the exercises, inside the Den, we have 2 Zoom meetings a month for Q&A and live coaching. One of my favorite parts, because I love being with the group and finding out what they need and then trying to figure out a way to help them see their way through. A student group chat room. People can meet, ask questions, get support, where I can post more up-to-the-minute publishing info than I can present in just the lessons. Find critique partners, potentially, people that you can ping off of. And friends, lifelong friends that you can make inside the Den. And then there are extras, up-to-the-minute extra course content, an accountability journal, publishing content, query letter writing, and so much more. Now, I have done one-on-one coaching, as I said, for almost 6 years now. And if you were to do that with me, if you would like one-on-one coaching, I still do it at a very limited way. But that investment is going to run you for those 6 months, $7,200, a little breathtaking, right? And that's why I created the Den, because I find that breathtaking. I also find this breathtaking. I did an MFA program, and that's what I've based my offerings inside the Den on. So I'm giving you an MFA program in a box, so to speak. 6 months of an MFA program, and an MFA program requires 4 times those 6 months, in other words, 2 years. But just 6 months would cost $14,000, and that doesn't even include the travel to get to the MFA program. So you can see that these are very expensive learning tools. I've done them, and I can tell you they're expensive. And I've tried to create something that is not expensive. I've tried to create something that gives you just as much information, such as much value, but for less. So with the modules, the lessons and handouts, the Zoom coaching, the up-to-date information, the extras, the community collaboration, and my support, it's not going to be, its value is high. The value is $14,000 if you take it apart piece by piece by piece, because I really did base it on my MFA program. But instead of $14,000, instead of $7,200, the 6-month program that I'm offering inside the Den is $1,750. $500 for the first month. and $250 a month after that for as long as you are in the den, which is, I think, a real bargain for what I have put together. So you get instant access as soon as you pay the first month's down payment, instant access to all the courses without the higher price tag. So it's only $17.50. It's all it takes to help make your dream of writing your children's book come true. But because you're here today in this webinar, I'm going to give you a special extra discount, which is pretty fun for me and I hope exciting for you. You can save $350, but you have to actually jump off of this webinar. I'll give you the link in a moment and sign up right now to get that $350 discount. You'll only pay $400 down and $200 a month for the following 6 months. And it is a 6-month program for a reason. There's a lot in there. You will want those 6 months. You will need those 6 months to get through all the course material, to learn and understand everything that I'm presenting. So, but you're going to save a lot if you jump on board today. So if you go to janetSfox.com/foxes-den/ right on that page, you will find numerous buttons, more information, by the way, and numerous buttons. Just click any one of them to start your journey into the Foxes Den and check your email. After you do that, I will be sending you more information to come on board, to have a chat with me, just a 15-minute meeting where we can say hello and you can ask more questions and feel comfortable. Don't have to commit until after that meeting, but that's where we start. But I want you to imagine where you could be a month from now. If you do click that button, you could be where Eric is, with a structure to create the story that was in his head that really wasn't coming out on paper, that he was so frustrated about. He'd always wanted to be a writer, and he's gotten to the end of his first draft. And he's so thrilled just to have made this story that was in his mind come alive on the page. So again, you're going to get everything that you need to understand craft of writing, the nuances of publishing, the things you should and shouldn't do in writing so that you can write your best book, a book that readers will love. So if you're wondering if you're right for the Foxes Den, if you're a beginner, this is a place for you for sure, because I have everything down to the very basics. You're going to get all the support you need. You're going to get all your questions answered. You're going to understand craft. You're going to understand the audience. You're going to understand your options. If you are a middle stage writer struggling through that revision nightmare, you've tried and tried and tried, nothing has gelled, nothing has come together, we're going to find out what's working and not in your book. We're going to help you fix it. So find that support and community that you're craving. And if you're an experienced writer, maybe you've written more than one book, maybe you've even had an MFA program, maybe you've even been published or come close to being published. I have students like you, if that's you, and something is still not working for you, you will find what you need with support and the community and up-to-date industry information. So I'm going to have a few FAQs now for you. So if you have any of these questions, here are some answers. Why do I suggest that you commit to a 6-month program? Well, I have been in this business for a long, long time, 25 years in the industry, almost 6 years in teaching and coaching. And I just know how long it takes to get to a certain place. I just know it. I'm not, pulling it out. I'm not saying, you can learn it in a month. You can't learn this in a month. You can't learn this in 2 months. You're not going to get to where you want to go. 6 months is really a minimum, but I think you can get there in 6 months with a commitment. That certainly allows you to get through all the content that I've put together, plus have a transformation in your understanding of the craft. If you can't keep up with the monthly payments, we certainly do understand. you may pull out if you're not satisfied after the first month. But I hope you won't, because I hope you'll find that you're investing in your growth and you're investing in your understanding, that you're growing your craft, that suddenly you see where you've improved. You suddenly realize, oh my gosh, I can do this. I now understand what I'm doing wrong. But of course, you can pull out after the first month if you can't keep up. We do understand that. Now, how will this fit into your schedule? The good news, the Den is completely designed for flexibility. That's why I built it the way I built it. I intended it to be something self-guided. I want people to feel like they can go at their own pace, learn in their own way, in their own time, especially those of you who are busy with children and family and commitments and maybe jobs that just don't allow you to learn these things without support, and yet to learn them in your own time now. That's why I built the program I did. This flexibility that you'll have. It's absolutely suitable for beginners. You're going to see everything at the earliest level all the way up through the most advanced. I'm going to lead you step by step. That's the way I designed it, step by step to achieve your goal. If you don't want to write for children, I have taught several clients who write for adults and have found that the art of crafting a story is the art of crafting a story. I've been able to lead them to understand plot, to understand character, to understand world building, to revise to their level, to find their publishing niche. So it doesn't matter whether or not you want to write for children. Ultimately, although I have focused on children's book writing, that's not the only audience for whom these courses are intended. Well, the nice thing, as I said a minute ago, flexibility is my goal. So you can use as much time as your schedule allows. Just meet your commitment to yourself. I just want you to feel like you are meeting your own self-fulfilled commitment to writing, that you're now making that commitment, that you are now stepping into this world with joy and knowing that you will be supported every step of the way. I do give personalized feedback in those Zoom meetings. I do give personalized feedback in the form of comments on in our forum, answers to your questions. You can always ask me for answers to your questions. And I do also provide some high-touch individual feedback. And in fact, I'm currently creating an additional feedback mechanism just for you in the Den, just for people who are in the Den, to get some high-level, high-touch support on a one-on-one basis. What sets my program apart, I think, is that it's a collaborative journey, that it's a community. I wanted to focus on a community. I wanted to focus on compassion. I wanted to focus on comprehensive learning, lots and lots and lots of understanding. But that offers a very rich experience, a very unique experience. Really, I tried to create my MFA program without the cost and the time away from home. All of that content, all of those high-level things that I learned in my MFA program, as well as the most basic and fundamental and beginner level things that I learned beforehand, all of that is in Fox's Den. That's what I think makes it unique. So again, go to janetsfox.com/Fox's Den. If you just go to the website, janetsfox.com, you'll see Fox's Den pops up on the menu bar. Go right in there. You can read more about it. You click the button, get more info, and check your email to get started as soon as you are ready. So again, imagine where you could be a month from today. Because if you're ready to write your children's book, if you're ready to stop feeling stuck in your story, if you're ready to start understanding the principles of great storytelling, if you're ready to become an author, a published author, if you're ready for an understanding of story structure and how to get published, then you are ready right now for Fox's Den. All of the things that I'm offering you that I've created because I feel it's so important to share not only my own understanding and knowledge with you, but to get you to where you want to be. As a teacher, it's my greatest goal in life. So please come join us in the den. I hope I'll see you there, and I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the chat how you're feeling. If you're feeling upbeat, if you have questions, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Alrighty, I'll say bye for now.